I think we are live. Yep. Hello, guys. Here again to another episode of our podcast. Me with Rodrigo Matos. How are you, Rodrigo?
Doing well, Joel. How are you? Thanks for
Good.
having me again.
Yeah. So today, we're gonna talk about the agent bubble. So as it's a live show, I hope we are able to get to the time that we lost a little bit of the streaming on the LinkedIn. But you probably will be able to see the entire episode on YouTube as we upload a day later normally. Um, so I want to start the episode with what we were promised, like when the whole AI thing started. Like the agent workforce is here. Hire your AI employees, agents that work while we sleep. Don't build software, deploy a team of agents, and all those blah blah blah. That everybody's here all the time, right? Think we are here on LinkedIn today and YouTube. Every channel proved saying this, like the promises an autonomous workforce. Um, and what actually shipping is basically a chatbot with a system prompt, a Zapier with a bunch of AI in the middle, an autocomplete that finish the sentence, search that recalls what you or do a research for you. So not really agents, right? Not really something that you can delegate. Um, on the days of OpenClaw, I think many people are seeing now in Hermes what kind of a real agent is. Uh, and the idea here is not that calling it an agent doesn't make it one, right? That's the whole premise. It's like when the time that we have the App Store on Google, on Apple, start Apple Store. Many apps until to the date they are like just shells on the website, really. So, but agents are a little bit more complex. You cannot call an autocomplete an agent or things like that. So my theory is the bubble is not really the agents bubble, is how much we're stretching the word agents to cover other things that are not really agents. So that is what we are here to discuss today. Uh, right, Rodrigo?
Difficult topic.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's. I did some reading before, but I feel like I should have prepared like a couple of weeks of more reading and watching videos. And so I'm going to ask you the first question, which is exactly like, can you explain what an agent is? Like, what it should be? Like the definition of an agent?
Yeah. So the definition, as I mentioned, the bubble is not the agents themselves. Like, is how much the word has been stretched. Probably people are thinking about agents as a Tesla, right? It's an agent now. It's a car, right? So you can stretch the car itself as an agent, but because the word is being used for everything, it's like an workflow with Zapier is an agent because it does something by itself. Or an autocomplete or a copilot, right? That you help you write your code, which is not the case. So, in my mind, a real agent is an agent that it has some memory, some tools, access to some tools, access to some loop that defines itself, like allows it to run more itself, like has access to an LLM, obviously. Maybe some guardrails, some policies. Maybe no, it needs to have some guardrails, some policies. Some monitoring, observability like humans have to have capabilities of looking what is doing. But the main thing, it has a goal, so it doesn't have a fixed way to do the things. So that's I think is the most important part of an agent. What I believe is an agent. So it's not that uh, it should be able to achieve something without the intervention or the capacity or the need of specific define the workflow or define uh, human action. So I think that's my definition of agents. The problem of the bubble is like everything is an agent now. Your chatbot is an agent. It could be if it has a goal, like if it has a goal of I don't know, sell a ticket or something, and then it has all the tools and guardrails and everything to do that thing. That becomes an agent. But if it's just answering questions, is a glorified LLM, like with access to a database of question and answers, or maybe some customizations or some. So that's I think is my definition of agents. What do you?
So people are, when you say like everything is an agent, it's like people are calling everything an agent, but by like definition, they they are not necessarily agents, right? So
No, yeah,
okay.
that's my point. Like
Hmm.
chatbot not always is an agent, and it's not that I want it to be some kind of niche terminology that creates a very different aspect of like because I work with this is because I believe that is the right thing to do. No, it's because it might help the bubble not explode in my mind, right? If you set the correct expectations on what an agent can do, like if you define that an agent has to have a goal, even for the business define what you want, it's better. Like if the objective of the agent is to, I don't know, increase the happiness of the employees in 10%, right? So then you give the agent the, the tools to access employee happiness or the access to benefits and things like that. And then it starts its own analysis, and then it creates memory about interactions that has with each employee and what is what is collecting like the memory individual thing, like the long-term memory, short-term memory about what is happening and for many other so you have an agent now with a target and with tools and with requirements. It might be like an example. It might look at the HR system and say, oh, we have a feedback from one manager to an employee or vice versa that is not being taken care of, things like that. So the agent has access to those things and can take decisions and can push information around accordingly to do the objective.
And let me provoke you. Couldn't a workflow also have an objective? And two questions in one. So couldn't like a workflow, which by definition would be an agent, also like have this objective and help with this scenario that you mentioned, for example, the HR feedback or the feedback that hasn't been taken care of? And the second question, uh, does it really matter to someone buying an agent that it is actually an agent, and why?
So the idea here is that uh, yeah, it could be a workflow, but then you have to have the human in the loop. So what you wanted to do is augment the human, not. I mean, you could say that you could replace, but like the point is, uh, if you have the human take the decisions in every step, then you lose productivity because the LLM don't need to sleep and things like that. But then you can have the human control the behavior of the agent, which is like an example. The human can have access to the observability of the agent and see how the agent is thinking, and then influencing the agent in a different way than uh, analyzing the conversations of the feedback of 1,000 people. So you don't want to have a human looking at conversations or doing following ups on tasks that are missed between because the manager or the person the employee didn't receive like some training or something. So you can have the agents taking care of those intermediate steps and make sure that those steps happen while the human is looking at the behavior of the agent. Oh, uh, maybe the agent is too pushy on something, or it's still in loop on this activity with the other person. And I'm trying to be, I'm not a HR person, so I'm not sure if all these things that I talking make sense, but I could get an example of an agent on my expertise, which is operations, that will be different. Like it's an agent that responds to an incident. You happen an incident, it will read, it will go find the logs, see what's happening. Maybe it's a new call, it's a new API, it's a data error, or something that was introduced to the system. It can go and look into the changes that happen and correlate information with logs and things like that, and then uh, do. But it's all independent, like all by itself. Doesn't mean that you don't have, as part of your guardrails, you could have a process of approve an API, sorry, a PR in our case, right? Doesn't mean that, an example, the the agent decides that someone deserves a raise in salary, and then he gets a raise because the agent decide, no, you may have the approval of a human for that, and there's a guardrails for that. But um, that's the thing that I think it's most important to people to think about. It's now, because one of the benefits of having some process automated by an agent and not a workflow, and not executed by a human, is that first, a workflow tends to be linear, like it tends to follow some predetermined steps, and the agent doesn't have to follow those steps. It can see, like, someone gave a feedback that it needs, I don't know, the feedback is, oh, uh I need to, I don't know, it's complaining that the scheduled time of the child school changed. So instead of the feedback be, oh, the workflow would say, oh, you have to tell your manager and whatever, then the change might be recommendation to change the office policy or something like that. So it doesn't need to be linear, the action that the agent proposes, which is different than the workflow, and is also different than a human because uh, it doesn't have feelings. So it will try to use knowledge and information that it has about the scenario that is analyzing. So it doesn't have feelings. It also means that it doesn't have feelings. So it's like, at some point you need a human to. I mean, I'm talking way out of my uh, scenario here, which is human resources. Like, don't get my advice on that. But my point is trying to stretch the conversation to see that agents can, because of they have benefits and limitations, we can exploit those benefits and limitations, or explore or use them on benefit of things. That, an example, how many times we had, like, we had we develop sometimes agents that have skills or runbooks, basically, to do some tasks, and invariably every month that we have to run, like an example, a specific patch or upgrade, the agent has to deal with some different changes that happen in the environment. And the agent is able, because it has some flexibility, it doesn't have to follow the same process every month. Like, uh, it knows the objective, like the target, the goal. Like, I have to upgrade, I don't know, let's say a Kubernetes cluster. It has to upgrade the Kubernetes cluster. It has the process that executes every month. But this month there's a new application that for some reason someone forgot to, I don't know, change some configuration related to pod affinity or whatever. And then the machine doesn't let it go. Like the machine gets stuck there. Oh, the agent can, oh, I know what is this, I can take this action and fix the problem, and it does. So we don't have to specifically tell the agent that it can take a specific action if something happens, because it knows how to some things already happen, and it's part of the LLM, the knowledge. So and it does the work without us intervene. So that's something like to think about. Like when you're designing agents, thinking about the goal is more important than, and then you start to okay, to accomplish this, what tools the agent needs access, what guardrails it needs access, what needs to remember. And memory has two levels. You have the memory that is for that action. You have a long-term memory. So you have, it's like, okay, I'm doing this today, so during that session I have to remember all of this. But after that I just need to remember, oh, this happened, and if it happens again, do this again. So and then you have all this the loop itself, like when the agent start working, when it finishes. So if you start to look at agents in that capability, and not autocomplete is an agent, or a car is an agent, or something like that. So it's, you kind of can extract the real value, I think, of the agents, and not let the agents become a bubble in your business, because it's gonna pop. If you start stretching agents to everything, like invariably you get a bubble.
Okay, I even like got a little bit. I had hiccups, but doesn't the fact that the agent can make these decisions and it doesn't have to follow always the same path, doesn't, and this is like a question for agents for dummies, isn't it more risky? Like, don't we give like more flexibility for the agents to also mess up and not having the human in the loop? Doesn't it, wouldn't it be good in that scenario to have the human in the loop? Because the agents can mess up, right? They can decide to do something, and right.
Yeah, and they
How do
do,
you avoid that?
and they will do. That is definitely something that they will do, and that's important, because when you design an agent, you have to create rollback points where you have this step completed, or this action completed, and you have a point where a human can act when a failure happens through monitoring. Like you don't approve, you don't have to approve every action, but you have to have a rollback plan. That's definitely something that we are aware when we're building, and it's much easier to do with uh, computer agents, because
Mm.
we have like we ourselves have our own, everything's version control. That's an example. But when you're dealing with, and when you build the guardrails for your agent, you have to think about, okay, if this action happen, like an example on the HR system that I will mess up again here, because I'm trying to imagine what an agent like that will do. But an example, if an agent proposes that for some reason, oh, okay, someone is complaining, or too many people this month complaining about what I mentioned, like the school, like you have one office in one school district that changed the start of the school day from, I don't know, from 9 to 9:30 now. Then you have people will be late to the office or something like that. So the agent decide to, oh, let's change the policy of the company. So in that case, you could have a guardrails in the policy change that would say, okay, for those things you need some kind of approval, but the damage is already done, because the agent will already propose this to the employees, right? So that is something that you in this case the guardrails has to be when something like a policy change, you have to have this capability of not commit the policy before approval, something like that.
Okay. And for that, you should have some sort of like observability, like ways to audit. And I don't want to like get into the next episode topic, but who should own this, like this part of the process, like the guardrails and alerts whenever something goes off track and the agent does something that maybe it shouldn't? Is this something that is security? Is the
No, I think
DevOps?
it's each business that does the business today is the same area. It's like we have, and then it's a failure on technology right now. How to do this? Sorry, a little bit
It's all
noise.
right.
Live
We're,
things.
we're alive. Yeah, that's fine. Things happen.
Uh,
Uh,
so yeah, that's a thing that we as technology have to explore how to make sure that this happen. Like that's one of the challenges of the employability or employability in the future. It's you have to know how to deal with them, like as part of your job, like describing agents, how they think, how can you influence them. Like the technologies are growing, and like you see me struggling here. I'm not the HR person, and I need, if I go to develop an agent to an HR person, like we're developing to other companies, we need uh, we need the specific knowledge of this. And I think when business start to looking at agents and process like this, uh, then we'll have the real possibilities of productivity gain and growing several different business. The problem is like we start solving at scale, right? So I think it can be um, that's the thing, right? Like we were discussing last time. Now the SaaS companies have to survive because like every company can build their own CRM, their own software stack with these agents and everything. So it is a huge actually opportunity. I hope that it becomes, instead of a huge, let's call uh, job loss, become more a job creation at some point, because we have many business competing or many new business created. The only problem that we have to solve is break the big companies. If you continue to stack big companies, then we're done as a human.
and what would you say to someone who is being pitched an agent? Uh, like what questions should they ask? What should they investigate before they decide to buy it, so they're not fooled and are actually buying a workflow?
Yeah, I think it's a both. It's a two side thing. Like I wouldn't trust in someone that who comes and say, "Oh, I will build you an agent that replaces your employees or something like that." Because what you want to do is make your own business more competitive. Like the agent will give you this edge. So what ideally an agent builder will do will use the knowledge that you have on your own business to create those agents together with your team and augment your business, right? To create and give solve problems faster. So things that would happen in hours or days now, uh, like we're developing an agent to a client that we're, instead of them producing a document that they have to produce, I would not open like what is it, but like imagine like this: you have access to the entire history of documents of this X value. And I cannot say anything here, but like this is a valuable database of like 20 years old of different cases about this specifically workflow. And every time that they would do that, a new prospect or a new document of that, they would take a week to produce something new based on that huge information, because they could go in the past and see, oh, for this thing I asked this, for this thing I asked this, and that was a very hard thing for them to do, but it was good. It add value. Now, for that same workflow is just a message, and the agent takes like a minute to do two, three different versions with. We are in the phase now where we look at what the agent. It's so good that we have we have our observability tools actually validating to see if the agent is not hallucinating, because it's so good that like when we saw, I was like, oh, that's like our concern now is make sure that the data that the agents are producing are actually backed by the history. So because that's another thing that it's as part of the workflow, right? We give the objective to the agent. So now we have to do this for this kind of business. Go and do. The agent go, figure this out, build the whole scenarios, and here's the outcome. Okay, good. The outcome is awesome. It's perfect. But how do we make sure that it's based on the data? So that's observability. That's what your team can do, and you will continue to do. Like, you still have the skin in the game is your business, right? You don't want to be that lawyer that had a case that it hallucinated, like happened many times, right? We heard about those things because lawyers go and use AI to do their work, which is fine, but just have to check. So I think that's the thing, right? You have to find partners they wanted to use your knowledge with you, not replace what you do, because that's important. Like that's the secret sauce that no LLM can do.
And I think we've seen that trying to replace people costs more, right? When which is an interesting thing. We've been seeing like loads of news pieces this last few weeks saying how uh, AI cost is increasing, and I guess that's why you said it's like a very good way of finding a balance and actually make trying to make a profit using AI. Right?
Yeah,
Cool, Joe. Nearly 30 minutes. What else is in your mind?
I think we have to run now. 30 minutes.
This is very interesting topic, though. We should get back to it and try and hear what people have to say about it as well.
Yeah, as we're discussing this, we have planned for 6 episodes, and then we're gonna open to see how it worked. Right? It's a learning thing. So, but yeah, all the about all the bubble agents AI thing is. I think it's important to uh, have this distinction between what we were promised, right? The agentic force replace all the employees, uh, and that's not gonna go like that. That doesn't fly. But it's also the agents are here to stay because they do solve problems every day already. So it's the middle where we are now, right? So how much we can the agents can really solve, and how much the humans can really be augmented by them, right? So there's all this look like things that we have to look in forward. And I think for next week, it's about actually what you were just asking.
Yeah.
You kind of created a scenario. Okay, good. That's good.
Yeah. Like who owns it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. All right.
Cool. Thank
Guys.
you, Joe.
Thank you, Rodrigo. Thank you, guys. Again, we are posting this weekly, noon every Thursday on LinkedIn live, and we normally take a day to post on YouTube. I try to be faster. We're not editing this thing. We're just removing the little bit of wording and we're posting. I think that's a way that forces us to make happen, and also the live, right? There's no editing here. Like you can see the lights and me moving. I can put my three fingers in front of my face.
One thing I was going to say, Joe, is like if you're watching or listening us on YouTube, and we have like actually more views there. If you
Yeah,
could like the post or subscribe to the channel, that would be important for us, like so we can get more people to send us feedback as well on
yeah,
what we could do better.
that's true. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.